The design of life is an irrefutable line of evidence for the existence of God. The next 6 minutes will show you why. As you watch this, there's a good chance you're doing so on the screen of your mobile phone. Every day, you and billions of other people reach into your pocket or handbag and pull out this phone to make a call, send a message, check the weather forecast, scroll social media, or use them in any other fathomable function. Because we use them so frequently, and because we are so thoroughly surrounded by them, it can be easy to forget just how incredible these devices are. For the vast majority of humans who have ever lived, the smartphone would be a piece of technology beyond all comprehension. But for us, they are commonplace. We can speak face-to-face with people on the other side of the planet. We can store music, photos, books, videos, and more. We can access essentially all information known to man through the internet. We can take pictures that produce sharper, more brilliant images than some of the best cameras of years gone by. All of this is possible because of design. Every feature your phone affords was intentionally created and developed to fulfill its specific purpose. Programmers labored for years to build the software that handles all of these functions. Innumerable experts lended their skills to creating these remarkable devices. Even the sleek design of the size, shape, and materials that fit perfectly within our hands was expertly crafted through countless hours of trial and error. The undeniable fact is, the phone in your hand is the result of precise, skillful design. However, in the same way our familiarity with the phone leads us to forget just how powerful and incredible it is, our appreciation for the human body often similarly falls short. Take, for example, the human brain. We often take for granted that our bodies contain this, the most complex structure known to man. Every minute of every day is governed by our brains and what they think, perceive, and feel. For as complex as the smartphone is, and as wonderfully designed as it proves itself, it pales in comparison to our brains. Their intricacy is almost beyond comprehension. Though weighing only 3 pounds, each brain contains just under 100 billion neurons and a quadrillion synapses. Neurons communicate information by sending electrical and chemical signals throughout the body, while synapses serve to connect the neurons to the signal's destinations. And the brain features neuroplasticity, meaning it can adapt its neural pathways to account for changed behaviors and stimuli over time. The human brain's processing ability is also unmatched. Even though technology has grown far more efficient and capabilities are increasing all the time, even the most powerful supercomputers still pale in comparison to the processing power of the average brain. To even begin to compete with the human brain, supercomputers require exorbitant amounts of both energy and space. Meanwhile, the brain fits neatly in the skull and runs on the body's consumption of food, water, and sleep. As for storage, you can buy a phone with up to a terabyte hard drive, which is over 1,000 gigabytes. The largest computer hard drives you can buy currently hold over 20,000 gigabytes. Meanwhile, the human brain is estimated to possess a storage capacity of 2.5 million gigabytes. All of this fitting neatly inside the human skull. And it stores this memory not by adding more hardware, but by developing itself through synaptic connections. But the brain is not just a computer or a smartphone. These are not just cold, electronic exchanges happening a million times a second via chips and wires. Instead, we are sentient beings processing emotions and senses and all kinds of other experiences. All of this is possible because of the brain's design. Now, consider your phone once again. All of the complexity you see began as little more than rocks and sand. What are the odds that those rocks and sand, given enough time, could compose themselves into anything? What are the odds that they could compose themselves into even the crudest of communication devices? Finally, what are the odds that they could compose themselves into the highly complex, powerful phone you use today? The questions are almost not even worth asking. No amount of time and chance can randomly turn inanimate matter into anything so complex. To suggest that it could is nonsensical. And yet, this is the exact explanation many give for how the human brain came to be. The evolutionary claim is that nothing became something, then something blew up and scattered across the universe. Next, here on Earth, the something came to life as a single-celled organism, and then that single-celled organism kept on developing through random mutations into all of the life we see today. The human brain, then, would simply be a result of random chance. Its incredible capabilities just happened to come into being. All of those neurons and synapses just evolved over time, knowing exactly what functions to fulfill and how to operate. This explanation does not suffice. In fact, it cannot suffice. Instead, just as with the smartphone, something so complex as the human brain must have been intentionally designed and programmed by an intelligent being. The features it possesses and the precision with which it operates cannot be explained apart from a creator designing it as such. If a video chat call from one side of the planet to the other couldn't happen without precise design, then your neurological processes couldn't either. If your phone's camera could not zoom in and snap perfect pictures without someone creating the software and designing the lens, then your brain could not contain the software and instructions to control all your body's functions without a designer either. If your phone was not created randomly, it's a safe bet that your brain wasn't either. When you zoom out and consider not just the complexity of the brain, but all of the complexity seen in every atom in the entire universe, both living and non-living, we are left with two choices. We can either insist that this all resulted accidentally and on its own, or we can acknowledge that it was all put here intentionally by a super intelligent master designer, or in other words, a creator. If you want to learn more about the lines of evidence that prove the biblical worldview, please visit linesofevidence.com.